All right, first graders, now we are ready to move on to the next step, which is going to be adding a background to our pumpkin patch. Now, the first color we're starting with today is any type of a green crayon. So make sure you have that green crayon out and ready to go. Now, the first thing we're going to do with this green crayon is we're going to add something called a horizon line. And in art and real life, a horizon line is where the sky and the ground come together to show the difference between the sky and the ground. Now, the horizon line on our picture is going to need to go somewhere near our pumpkins. Now, the trick here though is that our pumpkins are in front. So we can't just take our crayon and go, whoa, right across those pumpkins, because that wouldn't look very nice. And in real life, that's not how it looks. So what we're going to do is with this green crayon, we need to make a line where the sky and the ground come together, except for your pumpkins are in front. So that means if I start my horizon line here, I'm gonna start it on the edge and then, oop, I ran into my pumpkin. So I have to jump over the pumpkin, go to that next open spot. It's very, very tiny right here. Then I'm gonna go across, another little tiny spot there, jump over my pumpkin, come out the other side. Now, since my pumpkins were so big, I didn't have a lot of room for a horizon line, but you can see where it is. Some of you might not even need a horizon line because you do your pumpkins so big. But we do need that horizon line just so that we can see where the ground and sky are. Okay, so now with the green crayon again, we are going to be adding some grass to our picture. And the grass, of course, is going to go on the bottom, but we're not just gonna draw some grass. We're going to make this in the style of Vincent van Gogh. He used a lot of texture and lines in his art to make it look like it was moving. So we're gonna do the same thing. So we're going to take our green crayon and make lots of little lines to show these different blades of grass. And this is a little bit of a sneak peek for you. Your next step is going to be painting. So we are adding grass. When you paint, you could choose to paint this bottom part green so that it's really grassy and has a lot of grass, or you could even paint it brown to show that it's kind of muddy or dirty in your pumpkin patch and the grass is just starting to grow. Okay, so now that I have that first step done, something you can do if you want to is you could actually switch to another green. So I'll switch to this lighter green and I'm gonna fill in some spaces with some more pieces of grass, but look, they're a different color. So it's just adding a little bit something extra, making it look maybe a little bit more interesting by having another color there. And this step does take a long time, so I'm probably going to finish mine really quick. And you might need to pause the video to get caught up, and that is perfectly fine. And if you would like to as well, you could also switch to a third green color too if you have room for it. But I only have these two greens here with me right now, so I'm just going to use two types of green. Okay, and I think my grass is all finished there. So I'm gonna stop here with my grass, but if you need to keep going, go ahead and pause the video. Okay, and now that we have the grass all finished, we are going to be moving on to the sky. Now the sky is the really fun part because it is going to be inspired by Vincent van Gogh's The Starry Night. So before we get started, we have to think about some colors that we are going to need based on what you saw in The Starry Night. So some colors that you may have seen in The Starry Night were yellow, and there were lots of different types of blues. So we're going to be using some blues and some yellows, but let's get started with only yellow. So the color you're going to need first for your sky is going to be yellow. Go ahead and grab out a yellow crayon. And what do you suppose the yellow is going to be for? We're going to use the yellow for the moon and the stars. So let's find a spot on our paper for the moon. You can choose anywhere you want up in the sky. I have a really large space right here, so I'm going to put my moon right here. Now your moon can be a crescent moon or it can be a full moon. A crescent moon is a moon that kind of looks like a banana, so it sort of looks like this. And I'm going with a crescent moon because that's the type of moon that Vincent van Gogh uses in the Starry Night, and plus I just like crescent moons the best. There's my crescent moon. You might also remember that in the painting The Starry Night, Vincent van Gogh used a lot of different types of lines to make the sky look like it was moving. And so I can't just leave my moon like that. It looks nice, but I mean, it's a little bit boring, and I want this to look like Vincent van Gogh maybe painted it, or it was inspired by him. So instead of just leaving my moon like that, I'm going to add some lines that are going around and around to show that it's really glowing in the night sky. So go ahead and add some lines to make your moon look like it's more 3D and like it's moving around. Okay, and now that we're done with that, we're going to add some stars and do the same type of thing. Now you can choose if you actually want to make the shape of a star with like the 5 corners. I'm just going to do dots because that's how they look in real life. So I'm going to go with a dot, and then I'll zoom in here so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. So here's my little star. Around my star, I'm going to make some lines to show that it is really glowing in the night sky. I'll put another one right here so you can see it again. There's a dot. So there's my star, and I want it to look like it's glowing. So there's some lines around it. Now take a look at these because close up, they just look like lines, but from far away, it's going to make it look like it's really glowing. And I probably could fit one more star over here. So we'll do the same thing. You can add as many stars as you want, so go ahead and take some time to do that. Okay, and now that we have our stars all finished, let's go ahead and move on to the actual sky part, which is going to be blue. There are lots of different types of blues that we see in the Starry Night painting, so you can choose any type of blue that you would like to for this picture. I think I'm just going to start with this regular blue that I have, and then I'll fill in some extra spots with a different type of blue. But in the Starry Night painting, there were lots of different types of lines. You saw straight lines, wavy lines, spiral lines, curvy lines. And so we're gonna kind of add all of those. I know that Vincent van Gogh really likes his swirly lines, so I have to make sure to add some of those, but I want you to watch what I'm doing, okay? Because I can put my lines wherever I want in the sky. However, my pumpkins are in front of my sky. So that means any line that I draw in my sky, it has to go behind my pumpkin. Here's what I mean. Let's say I want a spiral right here, but then if I'm going down this way and I want my line to come through here, it's gonna run into my stem, so I have to stop, pretend like it's going behind my stem, and then my line will come out right here. Let's say I want to make just some wavy lines coming through here. Now that one I don't have to worry about because I'm not running into anything. But let's say over here, I wanted another wavy line. So I'm gonna make a little spiral here. And if I want it to come down, same problem. Oop, I ran into my stem. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing so that I don't go in front of my pumpkins. Trying to jump over and down here. Okay, does that make sense? You want your lines to look like they're hiding behind your pumpkins because your pumpkins are in front. So that means your pumpkins should not have any lines from your sky going through them. Now this is all random. I'm just making some random lines here, whatever I think looks good. And that's what I want you to do too, is just kind of fill in your sky with lots of different types of lines that Vincent van Gogh might have used in the Starry Night. Now, that's my first blue color. I am noticing that I'm starting to kind of run out of room, so I'm gonna switch colors here. This is just a different shade of blue. So this one I'll just use to kind of fill in some open spaces that I have, and it just makes it look a little bit more interesting to have another shade of blue. That's a different color. This one's a little bit more teal, so you can use the type of blue that is a little bit more teal if you want to, or a little bit more turquoise or blue-green. Okay, and the way you do this is totally up to you, like I said. So make sure you are filling in your sky with lots of different types of wavy lines. It doesn't have to make sense. I just want your sky to look like it's nighttime and like your sky has movement. So that means your lines are making it look like your sky is moving. Okay. And then when you are finished, you're going to end up with something that looks like this.